And welcome back. Copper Box Arena. It is game 2 of the Hoophall Invitational here in London, and we should have a really good one on our hands here. Christ the King, Paul VI, and welcome back to our broadcast location. I'm Mike. He's Graham. We had a great one on the first one. How are we feeling about this one, Graham?
Well, I'm looking forward. Hi, everybody. I'm looking forward to another super game. We've had two powerhouses with Mater Dei and Pace Academy. I think this is maybe even another step up, Mike, from what you were saying in between the games.
Yeah, and again, we had a spectacular game just before us that Mater Dei won by a count of 69-66. When you take a look at this game, by a few national rankings, Paul VI, known as PVI ranked in the top 10 by 3 different polls. Number 3 in Max Preps, number 6 by High School Circuit, number 8 by ESPN.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Christ the King, 18th, 18th, and 17th in those 3 polls as well. So you have a team that's in the top 10, a team that's in the top 20. This is the season opener for both teams too. So
that's going to be interesting because, as we said about Mater Dei and Pace Academy, they've both had some games, some actual real games as opposed to scrimmage. These guys have just scrimmaged, so this is going to be huge to see how they can come over to the UK and deliver their best basketball. But you say that how highly ranked the teams are. Of course, they've got 2 players on either side that are ranked in the ESPN top 100 for their class.
When you take a look at this game, too, Christ the King has been a traditional powerhouse in New York City going back a number of years. Head coach Joe Arbitello has been there since 2008, and this was a program that has enjoyed success for a number of years. And Coach Arbitello, again, doing a great job here, keeping this team, keeping the tradition alive at Christ the King. And you take a look at PVI, Glenn Farello has been there. This is his 16th season that PVI has finished in the top 10 nationally 4 times in his tenure, including last year.
Yep.
They ended last year in the top 10. They start this season in the top 10, and this might be as impressive of a group as Coach Farello has had here.
Yeah, and it's they've got 2 top players, Deshaun Harris-Smith and Darren Harris, both already looking to go to top universities. And with those 2 players and all the other pieces they've got some young players as well, some young freshmen as well. I'm really excited to see both teams, Christ the King Roz and Paul V1.
So, as you mentioned, there's some experience on both of these teams, but what really makes these teams special are, again, you go through the classes and you have impressive players, not just seniors, you have juniors, you have sophomores, and you have a quality basketball game that's awaiting us.
Yeah, absolutely. And with looking at Christ the King Roz, Brandon Williams, who's a senior, 6'9", he's ranked 99 by ESPN in the top 100. He's going to UCLA. And then Brandon Gardner from Christ the King, he's 85 in the ESPN top 100, and he's going to be staying local at St. John's.
Yeah, Brandon Gardner from his hometown's Jamaica, and he's going to go to school right there too at St. John's. So keeping a local home, big get from Mike Anderson in the St. John's program, and as you mentioned, Brandon Williams as well with UCLA. This is a team, Christ the King, that also has Cayenne Anthony, the son of the great Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, and we've seen Carmelo as well courtside now. And this is going to be really interesting because having Bronny James over in the summer, not only him, the son of LeBron, you had Scottie Pippen's boy, Penny Hardaway's boy, these next generation of players with their dads that are NBA superstars or were, it's going to really light up this tournament and light up the rest of the season.
And meanwhile, you take a look at what PVI has, and you mentioned Deshaun Harris-Smith. Well, he's going to be on his way to Maryland next year. And Darren Harris has secured a commitment with Duke.
Yeah, well, that's 2 top universities, and that just says everything you need to know about those 2 players, Deshaun Harris-Smith and Darren Harris.
Patrick Gonba and Brandon Gardner jump center. PVI wins the tip. We are underway. So PVI wearing the black jerseys with, I would say, mustard color side panels and numbers. Christ the King wearing the gold jerseys with the maroon letters and numbers. That's gone, but in the post. Kick out for three for Ben Hammond. Does not go. It is deflected. Bonga fighting for it, and it is going to go to Christ the King.
Yeah, good hustle again, initially by Christ the King, and they keep possession. And just again, early stages of this one, and let's see who's going to blink first.
There is some length and athleticism, some serious length on both of these teams. We'll get into that a little bit more as this contest goes on. That's Markel Alston running the point. 6'1" sophomore up top to Quinfang Pong from China. High off glass, does not go. Pong, an impressive player, 6'9". Christ the King keeps possession. That's Dwayne Pierce, doesn't go, but we have a foul on the floor as Pong hits the deck.
Yes, good hustle by him there, keeping that play alive, and he ends up out of bounds and keeps the possession for Christ the King, the Royals.
As Ben Hammond picks up the foul for PVI, we have played 53 seconds. We're still awaiting our first points. That comes in to Devin Vanterpool, son of a coach. His father, David, 10-year NBA assistant. Pong in the post, and he's going to be called for steps.
Yeah, well, again, they're going in early to Quinfang Pang, and first possession was positive. That one, travel.
Number 12 is Garrett Sundra. He's a 6'11" junior. Mentioned the size. Bonga plays in the post at 6'10". There's a drive by Harris Smith, does not go. And now here comes Alston for Christ the King. Alston trying to finish. That one is rejected, but a foul is called.
Yeah, good.
Bonga and Sundra in the area, and it's going to be Bonga who picks up the foul. Bonga standing 6'10", playing the center position. Sundra at the 4 at 6'11".
Yeah, that's huge size for Pool V1. This school has got some massive size advantage there, but Christ the King get to the line.
Christ the King also, too. You know, we talk about Pong, a skilled 6'9". You have Brandon Gardner at 6'9", and Brandon Williams is 6'9" as well.
Yeah, they've got height completely through the roster.
And Alston's first free throw was the first point of this game at the 6:22 mark.
Yeah, slow start, but it was similar with the Pace Academy and Mater Dei, and then things really started to heat up.
And we think the temperature is going to be raised here before too long, too, as Alston hits both free throws.
Absolutely.
Hammond, the 5'10" junior. And that doesn't go. Board for Pierce. Pierce's pass intercepted by Hammond. Harris Smith gets the finish. That's a tough acrobatic play.
That was hanging in the air through two defenders off the glass.
Kevin Willard in Maryland, happy to have him next year. The baseline jumper doesn't go for Gardner, but it's loose on the floor. Pong at it. Then it is poked away. Great hustle play by Darren Harris for PVI. Here comes Harris Smith. Sundra sets the screen. 3 on the way. Back iron. And the rebound hauled in by Vanterpool. Pierce on the drive. Offensive foul.
Yeah.
Another great hustle play by Harris, standing in and taking the charge.
Yeah, that's super defense. He's just there waiting. Darren Harris, he describes himself as an elite shooter, but he's just plays some elite defense and leading by example in the best possible way there.
Well, we played a little more than 2.5 minutes, and defense has been the story so far. We're tied at 2. Bonga, handoff back to Hammond. He's going to pull up for 3. Connects.
Yeah, nice 3 by Ben Hammond. Just catch and shoot off the handoff from Patrick Ngongba.
Number 3 with the 3, and then some pressure forces a turnover as Alston's pass goes out of bounds.
And St. Paul just starting to really step things up.
PVI, several players ranked in the U.S. Elite Basketball DMV preseason rankings, and the dazzling dozen coming into this year. They do that by class. Harris Smith doesn't go. Loose on the floor near the baseline. Somehow stayed in bounds. Sundra saved it. Nice feed.
Yeah.
That's Harris to Gonba for two. I'll tell you, Harris has made several plays that haven't resulted in him scoring early in this game, but hustle plays, smart plays.
Yeah, he's showing both ends of the floor while he's going off to a top university.
PVI now has three players getting over to the scores table. Pierce to the floor, gets it to Pong, and an offensive foul as Pong on the pass falls over a defender.
Yeah, he's had a couple of issues, one travel in there, now committing the charge. They're playing him tough, but the top players that we mentioned pre-game are starting to come to the fore at both ends of the floor, and it's great when they're going head-to-head as well, these ESPN Top 100 players.
Jaquan Womack, Isaiah Abraham, and Christian Gerdak are now in for PVI. We talk about the PVI size. Well, Gerdak is a 6'9 sophomore at the center position. And Harris fouled on the jumper, and that one just came up short, but he's going to go to the line.
Yeah, and that's the scouting report on Darren Harris. You've got to chase him off the shots because he has got such a nice release. Four-star guard, and again, that was too much defense there. They've chased him too hard, committed the foul. But these players, having again researched and got to immerse with all this, with the high school basketball mentality, really. These players are under such scrutiny, aren't they, Mike? With all the different polls and this scout saying this and this commentator may be saying that.
And just with recruiting in general, there's just so much information that's out there. And you have to watch that doesn't turn into information overload, I guess, in certain ways.
Absolutely.
As Harris's free throw give PVI a 9-2 lead as we're just past the halfway point of quarter number one. Can the Royals get going here? It's going to start with Vanterpool over to Alston. Here's Brandon Williams. Pong for three. Doesn't go. Rebound by Womack. Harris for Harris Smith. That's some good defense there by Vanterpool.
Yeah.
And now a foul is called, and that's going to go against Pong, and he's going to pick up his second at the 3:13 mark.
Yeah, they played good defense initially, but in the end, they just couldn't stay in front, and just too much contact there.
Brandon Gardner had checked out briefly. He's back in now as Pong gets the seat with the two fouls. And another whistle against Christ the King. And that's going to be Cayenne Anthony who picks up that foul.
Yeah, again, they're trying to play Darren Harris so tight. They're playing him too tight almost, Mike, and it's going to be a foul every time.
Harris will now check out. Did he ever make an impact? And Harris Smith will come out as well.
That's interesting to have their two real key players out, but the others have got to learn to play as well.
Then again, this team's pretty deep. As down low, that's Gerdak working hard.
Yeah, that's super play on the offensive glass. Christian Gerdak.
6'9 sophomores getting some good looks already. Vanderpool's pass is deflected. Here comes Jordan Smith with the flush. And that's going to be a Christ the King timeout.
Yeah, they need to stop the bleeding. That's just too simple. The pass picked off. Jordan Smith flying towards the basket for the two-handed dunk.
And let's take another look. Jordan Smith. We talk about the waves of talent on PVI. He's a freshman.
Well, didn't look like a freshman on that play. But then in the previous game as well, it's very difficult to tell the guys that are just coming in or if they're well into the high school program or leaving this year, they're just ready to go, these freshmen, and really impressive there, Jordan Smith.
So well said there. And again, we saw specifically with Modern Day in that first game too, we mentioned, especially with Brogan, just how ready to play he is as a freshman. And again, with PVI coming in waves. But again, what else did we learn in the first game? That just because something starts a certain way doesn't necessarily mean it finishes that way. Yes, PVI with the 13-2 lead early, but this Christ the King team is a top 20 team in several United States polls. You know that they're going to have an answer at some point here. Yeah,
maybe it's best for them that this run is now, and then they've got plenty of time to rectify it, but they're going to have to turn some things around.
This is our first look at Taheen Oliver Jr. bringing the ball into the front court. Oliver off to Dwayne Pierce. Gardner's going to come out and set the screen. He receives the pass. Shot clock under 10. Here's Anthony. Shot clock under 5. Long three from Pierce. Good defensive possession and rebound brought in by Hammond.
Yeah, he's really impressive.
Three doesn't go. That's Smith down low. Gerdak again.
Straight away, what strikes me about him, he just knows his role. He's around the hoop, cleaning up any misses.
15-2 PVI lead. Under 2 minutes left in the quarter. Pierce left wing. Gardner sets the screen. Pierce got underneath the basket, made a pass, and it was stolen by Hammond. Quickly in transition to Isaiah Abraham. And that pass gets deflected out of bounds. But it will remain PVI ball. 25 to shoot, 127 left in the quarter. Womack will inbound. Into Abraham. Now into the post. Here's Gerdak. He's been impressive. Doesn't get the reverse layup. Smith, yes!
Yeah, he loves that. Applauding his efforts, and so he should, and so should the rest of the team. Offensive rebound. Gets back up quick, knocks down the two.
Well, we saw in a previous possession, we know he can get up quick, but how about that with a finish in traffic? Yeah. Final minute of the first quarter, PVI up 17-2. That's a nice take to the basket, and Williams is going to draw a foul.
Yeah, Brandon Williams going left-handed, through traffic, through the lane, trying to get to the hoop. He's going to go to the line for 2 shots, and I think they really need these 2 shots. Get a foothold. They've only scored 2 points in this quarter, Mike, and that is really tough with all the firepower they've got on paper.
Gerdak picked up the foul, and the first free throw is good. Substitutions made both ways.
Yeah, and Darren Harris coming in. I think that's good play by the coach. He's giving him a break.
Here comes the second free throw. That's good. 17-4 PVI lead. Harris Smith back in, along with Harris, along with Sundra. Hammond, Sundra in the corner. Quick pass out to the wing. Harris, pretty release.
Yeah.
For 3.
Exactly right, like the scouting report. Comes out of his hands so smooth off the sideways dribble.
And we saw that on the play. He got fouled on the curl from the elbow as well. Here's Williams. Yeah. And that's a big 3. The Royals needed that. Is this the final possession of the quarter? Under 10 seconds to go. This is Harris Smith. Down to 3. He sets up his move. Here's the lefty jumper. Doesn't go. That's the end of the first quarter. For PVI, a commanding 20-7 lead after 8 minutes.
Yeah, really impressive. Both ends of the floor. PVI and Darren Harris just showing us a sweet jump shot. But they're getting plenty of play. Ben Hammond really impressive in that first quarter as well. So Christ the King Royals have it all to do, Mike.
And again, you take a look at this PVI team and just, where's the talent coming from? And again, Deshaun Harris-Smith, okay, he's the senior. He's the one who's the Maryland commit. They have 3 seniors on their roster. Harris-Smith is the one who gets the most run of the seniors as we're taking a look at some first quarter highlights. But look at your junior class. You have Darren Harris. You have Ben Hammond. You have Gonba. You have Isaiah Abraham, who we saw in that first quarter off the bench, who transferred into that program this year. Then Gerdak is a sophomore. Well, Jordan Smith is a freshman. Well, we didn't know how much we would see out of him, but first quarter was certainly impressive.
Well, yeah, he's got no trouble fitting into this roster with the steal and the dunk and the offensive rebound. So doing all the stuff that the coach is going to want him to do, playing defense, getting second efforts on the offensive glass, and then he's fighting for possession there as well. So he's doing all the right things, Jordan Smith.
PVI located in Chantilly, Virginia. That's less than 25 miles away from Washington, D.C. In the United States, that is a great basketball area in general, as is New York City, where Christ the King is from.
Yeah.
So really, 2 of the top areas for high school basketball in the country. As we take a look down at the sideline. Once again, Kenny Smith in attendance for this one as well. Kenny Smith, again, inside the NBA champion with the Houston Rockets. We believe Carmelo Anthony is in the building tonight.
Watching his son, and he's courtside.
Carmelo Anthony, legendary career in basketball.
Never won that elusive NBA title, though, Mike. Just didn't quite get it.
The interesting thing is, and I didn't realize this one until I was looking at this, 3 gold medals in the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was the first one to ever do that.
Yeah, fantastic for USA in the Olympics. That is absolute sure. And
he played 1 collegiate year at Syracuse.
Yes.
As that one goes out of bounds, it'll go to Christ the King. But how memorable was it, the 2003 National Championship?
Yeah. He can fill it up, and be interesting to see how his son develops.
Carmelo Anthony, 28,289 points in the NBA.
Yeah, that is buckets. He's filling it up.
Great pressure applied by Sundra. That leads to a pass that's stolen. And, that was blocked. Is that a goaltend? I believe it is going to be called a goaltend, yes. That was great hustle by Brandon Williams to get back, but count the basket for Ben Hammond. Yeah, and again, just confusion and speeding up. Christ the King there on the defense. They cough it up, and PV1 get the bucket. Here's Alston. Williams on the drive.
Again.
Offensive foul.
And look who's taken that charge. Darren Harris again. Just right place, right time, both ends of the floor. And the young players coming through are going to look at him and go, well, he's our best shooter, but he's also probably our best defender as well.
And how do you like that? Again, the release, it's so pure, but just everything about his game, the things that may not show up in a box score are as impressive as the things that do. That's poked away. That's good hands there by Vanderpool. And, we've seen a couple of nice plays there by Vanderpool. We mentioned his father, David, 10-year NBA assistant. And he was with the Portland Trailblazers for a while, and where he was really instrumental. Great backcourt there with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, a couple of guys who played at smaller American colleges as compared to what your Power 5 would be, Lillard, Weber State, McCollum at Lehigh, and those guys developed into all-star caliber players, and David Vanderpool had a big part in doing that as an assistant coach.
It just shows you don't have to keep going to these big colleges in order to end up being a superstar.
Harris-Smith, shot clock winding down, front of the rim, and Alston with the board. Quick transition for Christ the King. Now Alston will slow it down in the front court. Not getting much movement now. Now Alston will create some. Stops, spins in the lane. He's called for steps.
Yeah, good defense from PV1 again. creating a lot of problems for Christ the King, trying to get into their offense, but PV1 are saying, no, we're going to stay on top of you.
Ben Hammond. That's Sundrew setting the pick, and a foul. And that's going to be whistled against Bryce Merchant.
Fouls on 12, Bryce Merchant is first.
The PVI lead is 15. Harris being guarded closely by Vanderpool. The way Vanderpool defends, that's going to be a fun matchup. Sundrew thought about the three, takes a step in, 16-footer swish.
Wow, that's just super again. Stretch 4, stretch 5. Got all the fundamentals. Nice mid-range jump shot off the shot fake.
As we talked about, even back to our first game of the day, 6'11" player, and that game extends to the three-point arc.
Absolutely, and it's a nightmare to defend for the defensive team for sure.
And now you see him with some length on Williams. Those are two long-rangey guys. There might have been some contact there on that shot by Vanderpool, but the contact was with the ball and wasn't ruled on Vanderpool. And we have a foul on the other end. That looks like that's going to go against Alston.
And there's the Sean Harris-Smith. Just gritty, determined, exactly how the scouting report describes him. Him compared with Darren Harris is a little bit chalk and cheese because Darren Harris is so smooth. But this guy will do a little bit of everything, and he will keep attacking the basket. And this time he gets fouled, he's at the line.
PVI is now in the bonus. So that'll put Harris-Smith at the line for a 1-and-1 at the 4:59 mark of the second quarter. And it's 1 and out as the rebound pulled in by Gardner. Pong came back in for Christ the King. You may remember he picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter, but at this point, down 17. Joe Arbitello going for it. Alston stops left elbow. Here comes the three by Williams. Back iron. Pong, nice back tap. Loose on the floor. Alston scoops up. Good play by Pong to keep the possession alive. Now Vanderpool near the half-court stripe. He's being guarded by Jordan Smith. Gardner back to Vanderpool. Shot clock now under 10. Vanderpool pulls up the three. No, but a foul on the rebound.
Yeah, that was good defense by Pace Academy, forcing Christ the King to go all the way down to the bottom of the shot clock, but Brandon Gardner got good position there between two defenders and created the foul situation.
Deshaun Harris-Smith picks up the foul. That is his first, is the team's fourth of the half. Inbound was deflected, but lands safely in the hands of Williams. Williams, Vanderpool, he's cut off on the baseline. Right wing pass goes to Alston. Past the midway point of the second quarter, PVI up 24-7. The teardrop is good by Vanderpool.
That's perfect execution by Devin Vanderpool. Just push shot there. Nice floater over the outstretched defense.
Lob into the post. Here's Gerdak. That shot is blocked by Pong. Second chance is good.
Yeah, Womack coming flying in over the back.
That's
for the finish.
That was Womack with it. Alston. Pong, left wing three. Doesn't go. And Alston down. And it looks like he's going to get up okay. As Brandon Gardner will help him up. But Joe Arbitello is going to get Alston out of the game as Taheen Oliver Jr. will replace him. Joe Arbitello, in addition to his role as head coach, also the principal at Christ the King High School.
Well, he's got his hands full then.
Bounce pass Gerdak. That shot is blocked. Loose on the floor, picked up by Harris-Smith. Womack doesn't go. Pong scoops it up. Williams has it poked away from behind. Here's Harris-Smith with numbers. Harris-Smith tries to finish. Doesn't go. Pong with the board in traffic. And he falls to the floor.
Yeah, there's a lot of up and down play there, but just I think the play there with Williams attacking, there was maybe a pass on there. He's trying to force it. He wants to get to the basket. That is his first thought.
The officials having a discussion. I don't know if I saw that a call was made, but if it was a jump ball, and that does look to be the case, the arrow is pointing PVI's way. And indeed, it's going to be Ben Hammond who's going to inbound it. That's a quick execution play and a bucket by Womack.
Yeah, nice job. They all lined up on the key, on the ball side. And an easy dive to the basket for Womack.
28-9 is the lead for the Panthers, the PVI Panthers. That right elbow jumper does not go for Gardner. Hammond again. And that one, Gerdak has it blocked. That's Pong again, and this time he's fouled.
Right at the rim. That was a huge block because Gerdak was trying to throw that down, but Pang said no way and blocked the shot.
And Gerdak picks up his second foul at the 2:17 mark. He took a brief look over at the bench, and nobody's coming in for him. So he'll stay on the floor with 2. Like the energy that Pong has provided for Christ the King, especially playing with 2 fouls.
Yeah, he's been impressive.
Here's Anthony. Pong. That's long, and the board is pulled in by Smith. Smith is his own transition game. That shot's blocked by Pong.
Back-to-back blocks by Pang. That's awesome.
Now a turnover. Womack. Hammond. Gerdak. Second chance doesn't go. Loose on the floor. Still loose on the floor. Hammond with the save. And now Hammond is going to slow this one down.
That was just a whirling dervisher there as Hammond attacks.
Whirling dervish is a wonderful way to describe that last hectic minute. Uh-oh, here comes a run out. And the layup is good by Taheen Oliver Jr.
Yeah, Oliver Jr. with a nice run out and layup. They desperately needed that. Christ the King.
Into the final minute of play, and that one is sent out of there by Gardner. Now loose, and here comes Vanderpool with the layup.
And this is having the same feel, Mike, as the last game. Basic Matter Day were out of it, and then they slowly drag themselves back in. But there's still a big difference in scores, but slowly but surely, Christ the King getting into this one.
Yeah, PVI really had control of this one, especially early on, as Jordan Smith going in, and Pong sends it out.
That was his second block in a row, but again, Smith took off from a long way out there off 2 feet, couldn't get the elevation above the basket, and Pong with a real explosive block.
So it's a 15-point game, 50 seconds left in the half. Timeout called by PVI as Christ the King getting some momentum. The defensive intensity has been ratcheted up. I feel like that's what we've said a lot of times, say that teams that have gone on runs, it started with the defense, and then the defense creates the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's Christ the King just couldn't get their shots going. They weren't able to play the defense they wanted, and now they're gradually able to do that as we see some more highlights. But Pang has been showing them about block shots. If PV1 are not going to get above the rim and throw it down with authority, Christ the King have got to make them pay.
If you're just joining us, first of all, welcome. Second of all, he's Graham Hiscock. I'm Mike Ferraro. Under 50 seconds left in the first half. PVI leading Christ the King 28-13. The winner will face Mater Day in the championship game tomorrow. That one will be around 4 o'clock local time as that pass is thrown away. So Christ the King forces a turnover and will get possession with 36.9 seconds left in the first half. Taheen Oliver Jr. for Devin Vanderpool. Some nice passing gets into the hands of Williams. He misses the shot, and rebound pulled in by Harris Smith. Still plenty of time for PVI. 17 seconds to counting. The timer has been turned off. Tight defense being applied by Oliver. Now down to 5 seconds. Harris Smith. Good ball movement. Sundra for 3, and it goes at the buzzer. And Sundra pumps his fist walking off the floor.
That is huge for PVI. Just extra pass, giving up the good shot to get a wide open great shot. And they didn't disappoint. Garrett Sundra, just a beautiful look. He reminds me of about a 6'11" Finnish player, or you could talk about a 6'11" German player, the way he's knocking that down.
Well, you know, that play
Markkanen,
yeah,
the big fella from Germany.
No, there's certainly some impressive things about Sundra's game for sure. I mean, you have that height, you have that type of shooting ability. He's impressive for sure. PVI impressive, leading 31-13 as you take a look at us here in the broadcast booth, and just have to be impressed with the athleticism, shot making, everything that PVI brought to the table in the first half.
Oh, they've been sensational. They have not let Christ the King settle, and it's not just the defense. We've just seen right there at the end how poised they are and calm, that they can knock shots down. And of course, a lot of the attention is on Darren Harris in relation to the way he shoots it right there and the way he moves the ball. It's almost a little bit like Steph Curry, the way he will come off tight curls and screens. A nightmare for a defender to try and guard. And then you've got someone like this, Garrett Sundra. He doesn't take the 3, knocks down the mid-range, and then knocks the 3 when they don't come out.
And how about that, just putting the ball on the floor to create a shot, too. That last play they have to credit Harris Smith. They made that play happen. It's down to 4 seconds on the clock. Yeah. Pass into the corner, pass to the wing. Yeah. That happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, shot clock management to perfection. So they're in good shape. It's all to do for Christ the King.
All right, I'm Mike Ferraro. He's Graham Hiscock. We are at the half. The score, PVI 31, Christ the King 13. So we're going to step away for a little bit, and then we'll be back with second half action here at the Hoophall Invitational from the Copper Box Arena in London. We'll be back with you with second half action after this.
Gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up there. 6:40 to play. Oscar back to Triple.
Mr. Triple Double. Pippen is the best ever.
Take the picture for you.
Moment for the Admiral. So long, this is what you dream about.
Stockton to Malone.
Let's go into the theater.
Yeah, I think the movie's coming on
Win,
now.
you get to keep playing. If you lose, you have to go sit down. So you want to win as much as possible. And that becomes the badge.
And the Boston Celtics are world champions. The best team in the world. Baby, what a play by
Hey, Dad, check it out. Bill Chamberlain.
Wow,
50.
look at that.
Whoever believed that anyone would score 100 points in one ball game, it was done.
Everybody, all you got. Let's get this win. With a crossover.
LeBron James, he has got the complete package.
He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. This is a long-time dream.
Oh, blocked by James. The Cavaliers are NBA champions. Cleveland, this is for you.
What do you think is down here?
I don't know. Let's go this way.
LA.
This season marks the 75th anniversary of the NBA, but the game of basketball was invented long before the first ball was tipped in 1946. James Naismith was a Canadian-American physical educator.
The idea was to throw the ball into the opposing team's peach basket.
10 years later, basketball was being played all over the country.
Tomorrow night, 15,000 cheering fans will pack Madison Square Garden in New York City.
Basketball, a game of giants. And there's number 99, George Mikan, one of the greatest.
Oh, the range of these sharpshooters. Here's a three. Yeah!
Hey, look at this. This is Kobe.
Sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys.
Magic down the middle. Here they go again. It's show
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Hey, welcome back to Inside the NBA, all you basketball fans.
It takes every ounce of energy in your body to play in the playoffs.
And here comes.
Get another one.
Perfect. We have to send this to your mom. Do like something else.
Getting this crowd riled up. It is as loud as it could be. Goes by a little crossover. Step back. Wide open. And it's good. They love it in the Deer District. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
All right, welcome back to Copper Box Arena, London, England, Hoophall Invitational. The European version with the American contingent here. Mike Ferraro here along with Graham Hiscock. And Graham, what an exciting first half of basketball it was, but for PVI, an 18-point lead going into the second half. And we talked off air about the PVI balance. 8 different Panthers scored. Nobody scored more than 5 points, but 6 Panthers had at least 4.
Yeah, that's just super sharing of the basketball and the assists. They got 5 assists in that half as well, but they can do it themselves. We talked about Garrett Sundra knocking down that 3 right at the end, and then when he couldn't get the 3 off in the wing earlier in that half, nice up fake, gets mid-range, knocks that down. They've got a lot of different weapons. The defense is working as well, getting a lot of early options out of the defense as well.
Well, you mentioned one number that jumped off the page, and it's just the balance of scoring. A couple of the ones that jump off for me as well. Turnovers in the first half, Christ the King 12, PVI 3. Yeah. Points off turnovers, 15-2, advantage PVI. And also second chance points, 12-2, advantage PVI. Is the Panthers had 11 offensive rebounds in that first half.
Yeah, and that's just energy. Jordan Smith came in and got one. They were also able to bring in Christian Gerdak, who knows his role. That's what he does, gets inside, makes his own scores or gets the offensive rebound. So they've got guys that know their roles, and then they've got guys like Darren Harris who can do it all.
Now, PVI shot 38% in the first half. However, the Panthers had twice as many field goal attempts as the Royals did. 13 for 34 versus 4 for 17. So Christ the King starting the second half. Royals have to take better care of the basketball and knock some shots down. We'll see how these next 16 minutes go as the second half underway. Christ the King going left to right in half number 2. Again, the Royals wearing the gold-colored jerseys with the maroon letters and numbers, and PVI wearing black jerseys and gold letters and numbers, and that's a good start for the Royals in the second half.
Yeah, much needed. Dwayne Pierce just shaking himself free, knocks down the free throw line jump shot.
Sundra ended the first half with some lightning for PVI. I was going to say thunder, but that would be a dunk. Some lightning was from long range. Tough play in the posters as jockeying for position. We had Bonga and Gardner. That's going to come out to Harris Smith.
Yeah, again,
Pong
wide open, just a bit, sorry, Mike, just a little bit flat on the shot there.
Yep. Pong has played well defensively. 3 blocks in that first half. As we have a foul. Harris Smith.
Yeah, just moving his feet, but just couldn't get in front in position. And ball stays with Christ the King.
That's going to be Vanderpool who's going to inbound it. Less than a minute into the third quarter. With the Royals down 16, trying to cut into that. Vanderpool for 3. And that's Harris Smith with the Karen. Hammond was impressive in the first half.
Yeah, I really like the way he plays. All hustle, gets the ball down the floor quickly for this PV1 team.
And that's a foul away from the ball. That's Vanderpool jockeying for position with Harris. And Vanderpool showing off his wingspan as he says to the officials, why, what did I do?
Yeah, just unfortunate there.
A fun matchup with Vanderpool and Harris.
Yeah, I think that is a really good matchup.
Mentioned Vanderpool with his savvy. He is the son of a coach, and Harris the Duke commit. Another catch and shoot opportunity. Doesn't go, and foul away from the ball, and that will be whistled against the Panthers. And that's going to be Gonba who's going to pick it up.
Yeah, that was really good defense by Christ the King. They challenged the shot from Harris, didn't get too close, so there's no foul, and he was just off to the right.
Pong didn't see the pass coming, but no harm, no foul, no turnover. Another good matchup there, him and Sundra. Yeah. That's another fun one.
Yeah, we are blessed to have these guys here in London showcasing their talents.
Pierce Kicks out to the open Alston for three. And that's Gonbo who secures the rebound. PVI likes to play fast. Hammond, Sundra. Oh, that would have been spectacular.
Just couldn't get a handle on it. Tried one-handed, no good.
Does Christ the King have an answer? Pong, long. And Sundra will save it before it goes out. Harris Smith on the baseline to the cutting Gonba. And Christ the King wants a travel. The travel's not going to happen. A foul will happen. Yeah. And that's going to go against Alston.
Good look on the pass, but it was a touch low, just down below his knees for Gonba. But as Christ the King tried to react, and Pang in particular, he gets an elbow to the head, but looks to be okay.
Hammond left wing. Vanderpool was on Harris, and that's a turnover. Alston with the scoop. Doesn't go. Cleared by Sundra. Hammond to the right wing for Harris Smith. Pong and Sundra go up for it. Bonga has his shot blocked. Sundra for three.
No one can make a shot at the moment. It's all gone a bit dry from the shooting. Good hustle, though, both ends of the floor by the defense.
Yeah, we've played almost half of this third quarter, and, well, we've had 2 points scored so far, both by Christ the King.
Yeah. There's three more, nearly. That looked good for a moment from Brandon Gardner.
Yeah, had the straightaway three look, and that'll stay with PVI as now reinforcements coming from both sides.
They've got to start making those shots at some point, and at some point soon. Christ the King to get back into this.
16-point game, 4:41 left in the third quarter.
Just 12.5% from behind the arc, Christ the King first half.
Hammond pulls up from 14 and swishes it.
Yeah, he is dynamic. Really like him. Good foil for Darren Harris as well when he's playing as the other guard.
Kyan Anthony looking for his first points in this game. And the nice finish coming by Williams. Pong set him up. Harris Smith, Sundra. Another block by Pong.
Wow, his timing and his positioning is just superb. Absolutely fantastic. That's 3 blocks at least now for him.
I believe that might have actually been number 4 for him. Pong, 6'9", and we've seen his skill on both ends of the floor. Nice pass that led to the basket there, and then defensively, shot blocking, just as you mentioned, Graham, just his timing. That one, he bats the floor. That's a heady play as well, as he knocks it into the hands of Oliver Jr., but that pass goes awry, and now we have a scrum, and Sundra's going to make sure it's not more of a scrum.
Yeah, great transition D there from PV1.
And Harris Smith draws contact going through traffic.
Yeah, that previous play, Christ the King, they thought they had the score, but PV1 got themselves back, defended the basket, and then on the other end, Deshaun Harris Smith just keeps driving to the basket.
Williams will pick up his second foul. Now, Pong's going to sit as Gardner comes back in for him. Mentioned 3 6'9" players for Christ the King. Williams, Gardner, Pong. Yeah. That was Gerdak. He's going to go to the free throw line.
Yeah, again, they're going to wear you down over the course of a game. That sort of size and getting the ball into him exactly where he wants it in the lane, where he can just turn and make the shot. He gets blocked, but he's at the free throw line.
Christian Gerdak at the line for Hoophall Classic.
Gerdak's first free throw, back iron. Williams picked up that foul. He's the first player in this game who has 3 now, so obviously Christ the King needing to make a run. That doesn't help matters. He's still in the game at this point. Second free throw also doesn't go. Good box out by Gardner to get the rebound. In the front court, that's Anthony. Now Pierce. That's good defense there by Smith. Williams, mid-range, comes up short. Womack. Hammond, left elbow. And the second chance is good by Isaiah Abraham.
Yeah, energy, hustle, players coming off the bench making a difference. Great job by Abraham on the offensive glass.
Abraham, one of 4 Panthers named to that class of 24 dazzling dozen. He transferred in this year, so PVI with a loaded junior class. He's also the cousin of Patrick Gonva. Shot clock down to 5. Anthony for 3. No. Rebound Womack. Womack wants to go all the way. And that scoop is picked up by Smith. That shot is blocked in the lane. Pierce with the rejection. Anthony sizes up a 3. And it's good.
That's the first one he's made, but he actually got some airspace. What a pass into the corner as well, Mike.
Hammond quickly the other way. That's short. Speed picking up here is Oliver Jr. the other way now. Anthony looks for another. No. Chance in the lane is good by Oliver Jr. And a timeout is called.
Well, here comes Christ the King Royals. It's all of a sudden turned on its head. And Anthony makes the 3 in the corner. He misses the second one he attempted. But Christ the King quickest to react on the offensive glass.
So, we figured that we would see a run out of the Royals at some point. This is a top 20 team nationally. Again, we talked about the rankings coming into this one, that PVI, according to 3 major polls, top 10 in all of them, including number 3 by Max Preps. But Christ the King, by these same polls, 18th, 17th, and the Royals have held PVI to just 4 points here in this third quarter.
Yeah, they're showing what they can do when everybody is, as we look at some of the highlights, when everybody's involved. And Pang, again, with these blocks. He's just doing it in so many different ways. Coming from behind on Jordan Smith. And he can block the bigs as well. So he's a really impressive player from China.
You know, with Pang as well, this might get overlooked in this game, but you may remember that PVI really seized control of it in the first quarter. And how much of that had to do with the fact that Pang had to sit for a while after picking up his second foul?
He's definitely an enforcer and an intimidator around the hoop. They need him on the floor, especially now that Garrett Sundra's in the game as well.
So PVI 4 points here in this third quarter. Still with a 13-point lead, but looking to add to it on this possession. Sundra steps out to receive the pass. Gives back to Hammond. Christ the King defense swarming. And that pass is stolen. And now here comes the run out. Not able to connect with Gardner. Tried to save. And now here comes PVI the other way. Pass into the post is deflected. And that's going to be Christ the King ball. Credit Alston for starting that play with the deflection in the post.
Yeah, just wild basketball. Both ends of the floor. Again, Brandon Gardner's going to be really disappointed he didn't finish that play initially. PV1 get the steal, but then Christ the King, no harm done for them. They've got possession back again.
Trademark New York City basketball, swarming right there. Intensity, defense, and the Royals have played some good defense, especially here in this third quarter, but will the offense match? Anthony's going to try here as we're down to a minute left in the third quarter. He loses the ball. Harris Smith now off to Sundra. Harris Smith falls down in traffic, but he gives it off. And the finish by Abraham.
Yeah, he has been superb, Abraham. Right place, right time. Again, protected the ball and went up for the strong finish. And that just stops the momentum for Christ the King.
As we had a momentary delay as Harris Smith had gone down. He was looking around, I think, hoping for a foul call. None happened, but 15-point lead for PVI. Under a minute left in this third quarter. Will Christ the King go 2 for 1 here? and Jaden Ramirez will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a good attack by Ramirez. We haven't seen a lot of him in the game today, but he somehow managed to get that shot up as he was falling to the ground. So at the line for 2 shots.
Jaden Ramirez, sophomore from Brooklyn. Yeah, as you mentioned, Graham, we did not see him in the first half, getting some run here in the third quarter. Christ the King trying to cut into the deficit, and the first free throw rattles out. So Pong is going to come back in. Vanderpool is going to come back in as well, as Williams and Anthony will sit.
That's a really good call. They need all their big guns on the floor right now.
Like the move by Joe Arbitello, too, that with a defensive possession coming up, getting Williams out of the game with the 3 fouls as the second free throw is good.
He doesn't want him getting fought before the start of the fourth quarter.
They'll need him for the stretch run. Timer is off. Well, PVI came up with a great play at the end of the second quarter. Let's see what they have at the end of the third. Hammond now, 8 seconds, makes his move. Gives it off, Sundra again. Goes over to the far side, and a foul is called as Harris Smith was on the drive. That was awfully close to a tie-up, but there was contact.
Yeah, Jaden Ramirez just couldn't quite get his hands in the right position there. But good, really good effort by Deshaun Harris Smith, getting all the way to the basket. Exactly what the scouts and the experts say about him. He will keep driving all the way to the basket. Nightmare to defend.
It's the first free throw as well. It's been a balanced scoring effort for PVI. Harris Smith's second free throw rattles in. 16-point lead, 1 second left, and the fling down the floor ends the third quarter. PVI 39, Christ the King 23, 8 minutes to go. Here from the Copper Box Arena.
Yeah. Game 3 of it's been a fantastic day's basketball, and at the moment PV1 are in charge. And they're doing it as a team, both ends of the floor. Balanced shooting, balanced scoring, 8 scorers for PV1, 7 scorers now for Christ the King, but PV1 always seem to have an answer. Mini run there by Christ the King, Mike, but PV1 just finishing strong at the end.
And we can look right up at the scoreboard there. PVI, 8 players have scored, and all of them have scored between 4 and 7 points in this game, led by Hammond with 7. As we get that closer look for it right there, a great shot of what the board looks like, and that board shows a lot of balance.
Yeah, and they've done it as a team. They've done it, they're not just going to the same person every time. They know they've got Darren Harris, who's a great shooter, but they're not just trying to feed him all the time. He can be a decoy, he can save his energy for defense, which we've seen, and guys can step up, and highly skilled players. And we've talked about Garrett Sundry, really like the way he plays, but they've got all sorts of weapons. Christian Gerdak as well, just a hard worker under the bucket as well. So they've got various pieces that have all come together in this game.
And they've all had their moments to shine as well. Credit the Christ the King defense. Held the Panthers to 8 points in that third quarter. Christ the King has scored 7 points in the first quarter, 6 in the second, 10 in the third.
Yeah, they're going to have to step it up big time in this final quarter.
But then again, we saw what happened in the Pace Modern Day game, too. But Pace, with a 30-point fourth quarter, almost came all the way back from down 20. Gonba tries to save it. It's still loose. They might save the possession. It's Bonga again. He's going to go to the free throw line.
And it's little things like that. Christ the King, superb defensive effort, but they just couldn't get both hands on the ball. Gongba right by the hoop. He's at the free throw line. A wry smile on his face. I think St. Paul the 6th, or PV1.
He starts the play. He has the chance to finish it here at the line, only fitting. Sometimes the basketball gods reward you like that. First free throw, gets the roll too.
Yeah, again, he's another big player for PV1. He's got huge size, but he's a guy that's just going to play in around the hoop.
That's his first point today. And his second is good as well. 9 different Panthers have scored in this contest. We'll see what Christ the King has for an answer. Pierce. Sundra has the matchup. Pierce on the drive. Feeds it down low. Pong. Back out for Alston. Shot clock at 7. Alston. Pull up. He was fading away. Sundra with the rebound.
Yeah, good defense in the zone there from PV1.
Christ the King couldn't get much going there. Harris Smith couldn't quite finish. Pierce the other way. For Pong. Off glass and in.
That's fantastic body control by Pong. Getting the 2 off the glass with great touch.
Panthers lead the Royals 41-25. In some ways, it would be fitting if the championship game tomorrow was Monarchs and Royals. However, PVI has had just a little bit to say about that.
You got it, yeah.
And Pong held Bonga. No, actually, yeah, no, they are going to whistle Pong for the foul.
Yeah, I think he might have just had the arm in the back. Didn't look a lot, but he's going to have to come out. It's been really unfortunate for Christ the King that he's been in foul trouble because he's been in and out of the lineup.
Had the 2 fouls in the first quarter. Joe Arbitello slaps his hand as he goes to the bench. Credit to Pong that he hadn't picked up another one until just now, so can't imagine he's going to be out for too long here. Bonga back to the line. 1-and-1 situation now. Hits the first, give him a second. I mentioned the size on this team with Gerdak at 6'9", Sundra 6'11". Bonga 6'10", more of a true post.
Yeah.
Whereas Sundra can play, we've seen the in and out of his game.
He's equally as comfortable on the outside as in the post.
You can see why this team is ranked so highly. I mean, how many times do you see a high school team that you're 4 and you're 5 or 6'11" and 6'10"? And with the skill as well. Pierce with the miss, Bonga with the board. Nice fourth quarter for Bonga.
Yeah, Coach Ferrello's getting a tune out of everybody in this ball game.
Harris Smith finds Hammond with the pass as Williams went for it. Hammond pull up in the lane. A little bit short. Bad down to the floor. Quick outlet from Pierce. Alston can't finish. It's loose. We'll stay with Christ the King.
Again, another example, a 2-on-1. Just briefly, it was a 2-on-1 transition, but they just can't get the layup.
There's Williams. Nice floater.
Yeah, much needed. Brandon Williams and Brandon Gardner.
Hammond quickly. Here's the quick release by Harris. No, Williams with the rebound.
He put his defender on his back there.
That drew some oohs and ahs from the PVI bench, and those oohs and ahs might have been screams if that had gone in.
Yeah. That was all that was missing, just knock down the shot after that move.
We're approaching 5 minutes left in this one. Vanderpool, 3. Rebound for Harris Smith. Harris with the fake, now attacks the goal. Second chance, and he puts it home.
Yeah, that's really alert play from Darren Harris. He knew he'd missed it, didn't give up on the plate. Straight back at you. Timeout. Christ the King. They're in big trouble, Mike.
17-point game with 4:53 to go. Again, the loser of this contest will face Pace Academy. That will be 2 o'clock local time, he says, with maybe a little bit of certainty.
No, that's good.
Appreciate it, Graham. And then again, the championship game tomorrow, set for 4 o'clock, possibly a little bit after that, depending on how long it takes the first game to be played. Modern Day awaits the winner of this one.
Yeah, and, well, we're not going to say anything because Pace Academy came back with such pace in that first game and almost got it done. But PV1 they just look strong. They've just got more answers to all the questions than Christ the King. So, but whoever goes through from this matchup, it's just going to be a sensational final.
So the bottom line is never say never. However, with a 17-point lead and 4:53 to go, it is looking good for the Panthers right now. It's just been tough for Christ the King to get rolling offensively in this game, to really establish any sort of rhythm, any sort of run to this point.
Yeah, well, Kyan Anthony's back in. He made 1 of 2 threes in a spurt when he was last on, so he needs to get hot as well.
Here's Vanderpool. Smith with some good defense on him. And Pierce, is that a foul or a tie-up? It is a tie-up. The PVI bench erupts. It'll stay with Christ the King, but still, that was some outstanding defense on that possession as Pong's going to come back in for the Royals. Let's get another look.
Yeah, again, Brandon Williams is going into a space that's not there. 2 players, Gerdak and Smith, with great defense.
Williams with the turnaround.
And he's just starting to force it now. They've got to do it as a team.
Gerdak holding that rebound. Harris Smith, he's going to draw a foul there. Looked like he almost lost that on the way up, but...
Yeah, it's fortunate to an extent, but again, it's an example of him driving to the basket.
Forcing the play.
Exactly, forcing the defense to do something. If you don't stop me or step across or reach in, I'm going all the way to the basket. So, good play. I think the only thing for Deshaun Harris-Smith is his outside game. He hasn't knocked down an outside shot, I don't think, yet. If he starts knocking down his shots as well, he's going to be a real handful.
Just 5 points in this game, but again, we see the ability, we see the athleticism, and then again, he has several teammates who can pick up the slack for him at any notices.
Yeah. We've definitely seen that. No worries at all there.
As both free throws are good, as we approach the midway point of quarter number 4, 19-point lead for the Panthers. Williams for 3. Anthony with the rebound, and that's taken away by Smith. Harris Smith draws contact.
Same again, it's just relentless. And as we're coming down the stretch of this game, maybe bodies are getting tired, minds are getting tired. He is not. He is still at full throttle, playing downhill, trying to get all the way to the basket.
And he'll go back to the free throw line as Williams drew that foul for Christ the King. He now has 4. Interestingly enough, with all the balance for PVI, Williams, the leading scorer in this game with 9 points, as Harris Smith hits the first free throw. And, it just goes to show you, too, like with a team like the Panthers, so much balance, so much athleticism, sometimes stats don't always tell the full story of everything. I mean, they may not get anybody to double digits in this game, but clearly impressive performances up and down this lineup as Harris Smith hits both 21-point lead for the Panthers. And Harris Smith now leads PVI with 8 points. And you hear that bench being vocal, cheering on the guys on the floor in a 21-point game late in the fourth quarter. Alston corner 3, and a foul on the floor.
Yeah, really good effort by Markel Austin there for Christ the King, getting in between the 2 defenders from PV1 and giving Christ the King another possession.
Hammond will come back in for the Panthers as Harris Smith is going to get a hand as he goes to the bench. And with 3:30 left to play, may that be the last time we see him today?
Unless Christ the King make a big run, but he has put in a shift for this PV1 team for sure.
Foul starting against number 23, Jordan Smith is first.
So it is announced that the foul is on Smith. Williams will inbound, and it's deflected by Gerdak and stolen. Here comes Smith. Oh, he missed the dunk. But the Panthers are going to get another chance at it. And making good on it is Jaquan Womack.
Yeah, Jaquan Womack, that's just really good play off the Smith miss.
Anthony, corner 3, that was deflected into the hands of Gerdak.
Yeah, Jordan Smith again, so active on D.
That one doesn't go for Abraham, but the putback.
Christian
Oh,
Gerdak.
and a steal by Hammond. That doesn't go, though. That Pong just couldn't reel that one in, and that's a turnover.
That's just being oppressive now, PV1. They are just turning the screw on Christ the King, and in the end, the result is Pang's pass. That pass was a bit behind him, but you'd expect him to catch it. That's just pressure, speeding them up, and in the end, it's a turnover. Great play from PV1, Mike.
Christ the King calls for time. We have 2:42 to play, and it is a 52-27 game. Again, we mentioned season opener officially for both teams as NYC beats the DMV in London. And right now, it's Paul VI, Chantilly, Virginia, 25 miles or so outside Washington, D.C., and just a commanding performance by a team that is rated in the top 10 in 3 national polls. And again, it'll be interesting to see what Christ the King does tomorrow, too. I mean, you see the length, you see the athleticism of this team, and you have to figure that at some point here, those shots will fall.
Yeah.
And
they've had some good looks, Mike. They just haven't been able to, young Kyan Anthony needs to, he seems quite a slight player, so I think he's getting muscled out of some of those plays. But when he gets open, he's got to knock down his shots. And then hopefully everybody else can follow suit because they've got some super players. They're just being outplayed, outmaneuvered by PV1.
Yeah, Anthony, a sophomore. Now, this Christ the King senior class, though, as we mentioned, laden with talent. Gardner, Williams, Vanderpool. From the free throw line, Abraham misses. Gerdak, another offensive rebound. That one doesn't go. Loose on the floor. Ben Smith. Ben Smith has been hustling everywhere today. Yeah. Three-pointer on the way, doesn't go from Ant Brown, who just checked in. And the board in traffic goes to Brandon Gardner.
Yeah. Multiple efforts again from PV1. They don't get the score, but it's the intent.
That was a near steal. And that three goes long off the hands of Ramirez. Back the other way, the layup doesn't go for Womack, and it'll go to the Royals.
Yeah, that's sloppy by Womack. He really ran the floor hard. He just didn't get the finish that the play deserved. So back on D they go.
And PVI, obviously, you look at the scoreboard, dominant in this game, but that's a nice pass down low and a good finish there by Bryce Merchant.
Yeah, where's that been? They just haven't been able to make those sort of plays and get players wide open underneath.
As that one's knocked away, and then Womack had tried to save it, but he was out of bounds while he was trying to save it. So, yeah, again, PPI with the 23-point lead, but there were a couple of plays at the rim where just the ball didn't roll the right way, whatever, and yeah, I mean, this margin, quite frankly, could be even more at this point. Certainly a great performance by PVI, and Christ the King, again, we have to figure those shots are going to fall on another day as Anthony doesn't get that one to go, and the rebound pulled in by Gerdak.
Yeah, agreed. That's just what a pass.
Rod Taylor with the finish. First points of the game for the 5'8 senior, and that draws a hand from this bench.
Great to see.
1 minute to play, 1 minute.
And we're in the final minute of play as there's a steal. Robinson ahead, and that's another finish that goes.
Rod Taylor, and that's all about staying ready. However long you play, whether it's 1 minute or 20 minutes, you've got to be ready.
As a timeout is called with 50.7 seconds to go, and PVI up 56-29, and I think that timeout was just to get some substitutions in the game. So this PVI team has just 3 seniors. Obviously, one of them is Harris Smith, who we've talked about with good reason at length today, but the other ones are Brendan Robinson, who's actually heading to William and Mary next year to play football. Okay.
Right,
and Taylor, who we hadn't seen most of this game, but came in and made those couple of plays there. So again, the talent is there up and down the classes for PVI, and a great moment there is that the bench certainly appreciating the contributions of the senior Rod Taylor. Merchant doesn't get that one to go. And a foul is called. Oke Okrokoto, who had just checked in. Draws some contact. Jordan Smith picks up the foul. Jordan Smith is not a lot of fun to play against. Just an observation.
No, he is in your face the whole time.
And leaning in and getting that basket to go is Bryce Merchant. So a couple of buckets here late for Merchant. Score is 56-31. The clock is winding down under 5 seconds to play, and PVI is going to content to let it go as the Panthers are on to tomorrow's championship game, a commanding 56-31 win. And, Graham, we have our Saturday set now. Coming up at 2 o'clock London time, we will have Christ the King against Pace Academy, and then the championship game at 4 o'clock local time, it will be Modern Day against Paul VI.
Yeah, two fantastic games. They've been excellent today. PV1, too much for Christ the King to handle, but enjoyable. Great to see this American talent on the floor here at the Copper Box in London. And more of the same tomorrow, please.
Yeah, we had an outstanding game in our first game of the day. We had Paul VI out of Chantilly, Virginia, with a great performance here in this second game. As we take a look at the highlights, the hustle, and Christ the King, a top 20 program. You know what? We're going to see tomorrow. I expect that they're going to come out, and they're going to come out with some intensity for sure.
Yeah, that will be. It may be the consolation game, but that is going to be sensation between them and Pace Academy, and they're going to want to put some wrongs right, because, and that was a nice job by Rod Taylor coming in at the end for a couple of layups, but they've got a lot of things to put right. They want to knock some shots down, and they want to take care of the basketball, and tomorrow can't come quick enough for them.
Yeah, there's going to be some defensive intensity for sure in that consolation game that I expect to see both ways, and then we're going to have a fun one in the championship game tomorrow. Graham, it was a pleasure to work with you. Thank you so much.
You're a top man. Great to meet you.
Thank you. And
hopefully I'm on your documentary as well. Come on.
We had to go there, didn't we? Well, you know what? We'll be back with you for 2 more games tomorrow. So for those of you joining us on YouTube with Hoopsfix, thank you so much for watching us. It was a pleasure to bring this to you. Come back tomorrow again. 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock London time, we'll be with you. Subtract 5 hours if you're on the East Coast. Subtract 8 hours if you're in California.
Okay. Goodbye.
All right, for Graham, I'm Mike. So long, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.
Gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up.
6 quarter to play. Oscar back to
This is a big goal.
Mr. Triple Double. Pippen is the best ever.
Take a picture for you.
Moment for the Admiral.
So long, this is what you dream about. Stockton to Malone.
Let's go into the theater.
Yeah, I think the movie's coming on
Win,
now.
you get to keep playing. If you lose, you have to go sit down. So you want to win as much as possible. And that becomes a badge of honor.
And the Boston Celtics are world champions. The best team in the world.
Baby, what a play by
Hey, Jack, check it out. Will Chamberlain.
Wow,
50.
look at that.
Whoever believed that anyone would score 100 points in one ball game, it was done.
Everybody, all you got. Let's get this win. With a crossover.
LeBron James, he has got the complete package.
He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. This is a long-time dream.
Blocked by James. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
What do you think is down here?
I don't know. Let's go this way.
LA.
This season marks the 75th anniversary of the NBA. But the game of basketball was invented long before the first ball was tipped in 1946. James Naismith was a Canadian-American physical educator.
Proposing the idea was to throw the ball into the opposing team's peach basket.
10 years later, basketball was being played all over the country.
Tomorrow night, 15,000 cheering fans will pack Madison Square Garden in New York City.
Basketball, a game of giants. And there's number 99, George Mikan, one of the greatest.
Oh, the range of these sharpshooters.
Here's a three.
Hey, look at this. This is Kobe.
Sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys.
Magic down the middle. Here they go again. It's showtime. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA
Hey, welcome back to Inside the NBA, all you basketball fans.
It takes every ounce of energy in your body to play in the playoffs.
And here comes.
Get another one.
Smile. Perfect. We have to send this to your mom. Do like something else.
Getting this crowd riled up. It is as loud as it could be. Goes by a little crossover. Step back. Wide open. And it's good. They love it in the Deer District.
It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions.